starting to share. Which order did we do last time? Stephanie, were you last one the last time, or were you the first?
Last. I'm typically last because my last name.
Okay, so maybe we will start with you today. Okay.
Okay.
Specific questions first?
Yeah. I have a few. I think
Yeah,
all the
line weight is
retention.
definitely an issue. Line weights are an issue for now.
Oh,
So be
some of
sure
them
to allocate
like
some time. Yeah,
some of them are not supposed to be in there. I think like
okay.
the ridge line.
Yeah, the ridge
I like.
line. Overall, the contours are too light. The existing contours are a bit standing out actually more than the thickness is actually um, exceeding the ones that are existing proposed contours. Anyway, yeah.
Wait, which one are exceeding
I
them?
mean, no, overall your proposed contours are really light. So
Okay,
they
so
don't, they're even thinner than the existing contours.
mm, wait, so
Okay.
if we follow the one from grading, like the CTB file and the line weights we learned from grading, they don't apply here because the size, is that right? Because
They should.
these
I
are
mean,
the same line weights that we learned from grading. It's just that like maybe the size of the paper it appears different.
I don't think it should. Um, but I would say the hierarchy, the ranking of different lines, they definitely apply universally to the
Mm,
two courses. Yeah, so always check if you have your proposed contours and building outlines as the thickest lines, as well as your
mm,
walls, right? And then
mhm,
the lightest one would be your painting, the painting of the parking stalls, the pavement lines. Overall,
mm,
should be lighter. Yeah, should be lighter than your contours. Contours are the major point of construction drawing.
mm.
Okay,
Okay.
about
Oh,
grading. What kind of questions about grading?
um, I think I got kind of confused about the retention spots, like the one in the middle with where the driveway meets the parking lot. There's one
Retention
there.
points.
I was looking back on the video so many times and I was like, okay, so there's curb cuts. If there's a curb cut, does there need to be an RDI? Like when does it have to be an RDI or a
One
DI
is
instead?
not, yeah, one is it's not connected to other places, and when water will um, keep pushing kind of existing storage, existing ponding of water inside the retention
Mm,
out, then you would need an RDI. So for instance, you mean this one
that one and the one
and this
next
one?
to
That one. Okay. This one.
in the circle.
This one, yes, you would need an RDI. But overall, I would say the water here, because it's relatively on the ridge, you're not getting a lot of water. And unless, so doesn't seem like you have any kind of trench drains in this area. Even if
Mm,
you do, you're actually treating that much space. I think you could include one trench drain, so you get this part into the green area here. Otherwise, it doesn't have much place to go. It will keep flowing down to the DI here.
mhm,
Yeah. And then the other thing is this portion also is receiving pretty small volume of water. It's mostly that part. So it's pretty small, but it's still worth doing it. So yes, you have a curb cut here. And this one, because this is the only one in the train, it doesn't have anything below it. Let's see. So if water doesn't get into this one doesn't need to. Because if water doesn't have a way to get into, and the elevation of water has come to the curb cut height, it will keep flowing down.
Mhm.
So your curb cut is basically the overflow mechanism there. For this one, for this one, your curb cut is not receiving any water because it's right on the, let's see, I would say it's receiving, but it's hard for water to turn 90 degrees. So this one, you might as well not design any curb cut here. So it will be sheet flowing down.
Okay.
I know that could be difficult for vehicles. They may just try to get into the green area, but the best way to receive water would be for it to not have curbs. If you want to have curbs, then make sure your curb are at a location where water will be easily able to get into it. It just seems like your curb are right on the edge. Is that, yeah, it seems it's even downstream from the edge. I'm not that sure. Yeah, but moving it just a tad upstream just to clarify, no, definitely is on the face of the curve that receives water would be important. And this one, once water gets to the height of the 1190, it should also allow water to keep flowing down. So that one is okay if it doesn't have one. But because it's in the middle as an island, I would tend to include one. No, I would say including one as a safety mechanism is also a good solution or option. Okay. Now you have your LP at 119.40 and then 1109 being there. You have two 1109s. You don't actually have a 1109 here because your LP is above 1109. Does that make sense? Yeah, so your LP is above 9.4, and you do have a 9 over here. And in order to have water be, so this one is at least, the HP here should at least be, okay, this is good. You have 1110 there. So that means you have a 1110 in between instead of a 1109. No, I don't think this is correct. Not exactly. So I'm trying to draw the cross section. So we have a 1109 going down. Then of a curb cut, we have a, yeah, we don't really have another 1109 inside this.
Yeah.
I don't think you do. So yeah, we have the curb cut is wrong. It should be 1108.9, right? Yeah, so that is 1108.9. I think that's where the confusion came. So I'm getting in here at 1108.9, and I have my bottom as 1108.4. Now this, if there's no curb, that is about 1108.6. So that would be bottom would be down below here at 1108.4, right? So you don't really have another contour unless you do a ridge. So this is going to be like this, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we need a berm here in order for water not to flow out of here, right? So you need to do a HP. You could do the HP a little above this one would be 1109 point something. So you would have a little 09. That's why that one is 1 foot higher than this number. And you have a 1109, that's okay. You have a 109 like this, that's okay, because that's essentially your berm. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
I am thinking because of that berm, it actually makes sense to have a curb. If you have a curb, that would be
better.
Yeah, because without a curb, this high point would be, you would actually have just like that. And how do I make water not come out from that portion, right? So if you have a curb, if the curb is at 1109.4, then you actually do not need to. So the bottom here would be 1109.1. That then this 1109 could hit the curb.
Okay. Yeah. That makes sense.
Curb is high. Yes, the 1109 would hit the curb. That's correct. All right. So that's that. Other questions?
I think okay, after the circle though, that's like an overflow design that I saw from the video that I was trying to like understand. And then there's an RDI coming after, outside of the drop off. And I wasn't sure if I should include that or does the rest of the water flow, if it doesn't catch, like if it overflows, in the center retention spot.
Give me a second. I want to just mark these. The arrows are wrong, right? Because this is high, that's low. You don't necessarily need 2 spares. And if you do, no problem. Just make sure both of them are correct. All right. Yeah, I'm sorry. I kind of was focusing on marking this one out. Yeah. Yeah, could you please repeat? Yeah.
I think I was just saying the overflow design of the center retention spot in the circle. The same that I was talking about before.
This one?
Can you no, the one at the bottom. Please?
The one at the bottom.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
This one?
Yeah. So the video is talking about an RDI right after the drop off, because if this overflows, but I wasn't sure if I needed that because then I have 2 down here that would catch the rest of the water.
Okay.
Or do I need?
For this one, you don't need a DI here. Okay, you don't need a DI here. You need a DI or RDI right at the lowest point. So that one, you only need a curve cut. The very lowest point, that one you need either a DI or an RDI. It doesn't have to be both. So yes, you have a curve cut and then the RDI, that's sufficient. So you have the CC at 1107.68. You lowered that down, good. And then well, I would say your LP is a little too low. No, your LP is only 0.25 below your RDI, meaning that you only have a 1/4 of a foot in depth for this retention. So I would lower it down to 1106.25. so that you have a 1 foot depth for that one. And then, yeah, and then I think you're good to go.
Okay.
Yeah, we're missing a spot over here. Yeah, just all the center line and the ridge line, wherever pavement changes, there needs to be a spot. And we still need to do all the spots on the ramp. Okay.
Okay.
For this one, you do also need an RDI because this is the end of the line. Yeah. Okay.
So when there's an RDI at the end of oh, sorry.
When you are not sure, you could include an RDI, just to be safe. Because it's always going to be, we're not determining the funding or the expenses of building the system, right? So if you can build in a safety mechanism, you're not wrong, at least. Yeah, it's just going to be, either unnecessary or depending on individual cases. I would say a lot of the times, especially when at the bottom, at the downstream of facilities, over time they clog. Many things could go wrong, and if you're able to build in additional safety measures, it's not going to be a really bad thing. So I don't think. So for instance, if you are unsure, especially when a cell is at the bottom, build an RDI and make the RDI a little bit lower than the curb cut, and then that would actually facilitate the water flow.
Okay, got it.
Okay. So
I think I also got lost in the here. Oh.
Okay.
This.
Yeah, you wouldn't need a DI here. The reason being, that's not the lowest point. The lowest point, that point is lower than this one. So if this one, you don't need an opening there. Water will keep flowing downstream, and we're looking actually for the lowest point, which is actually here. Yeah, that's where the lowest point would be. Yes, and then the same thing, you could design for this one to be having a curb. We are actually, if I were to draw this one out, the shape of that one could actually, this could be actually be larger, just defining the traffic flow a bit more clear. If you give cars more space, sometimes they won't behave as you would want them to behave. So you could tighten these corners up just by strictly delineating where the driveway should be. Right? So you would align that one with this one, align this with that one, and then align that one, and then you round the corners. Yeah. So that way you will be able to better shape the behavior of the drivers. Okay.
Also, maybe this one.
Instead, you need one here. That's where you need a DI. Oh, because that's a dead corner.
The corner. Okay.
Yes. Yeah, that one has a DI. Good. Okay.
When there are retention spots in between the barriers, I feel like there's like barely any space to write anything. And
Well, I actually think you have handled the labeling quite well by using the leader lines. Um, some minor advice would be I would not align my contour number there anymore. I would probably use that space, this space. Not yeah, that space for writing my contour number. And yeah, once I switch to here, I would align them there. That's okay. But I would try to avoid stacking all these with your retention.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not even sure you need two of them there. I don't think you need two of them there. You just need one
retention?
of them. Yeah.
Okay.
The trench trend connect to that one, right?
Yeah.
I'm not sure we need that one.
Okay. I'll take that out. But designing within like the parking lot barriers, like the in-betweens, is like, how do you show it properly, I guess, and clear?
Can you annotate just to point out? Oh, that's pretty skinny.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you need the 110908 points. Yeah, the spots here.
Everything is so tiny.
Yes. Yeah, you need the spot here. You don't necessarily have another contour, so I think you will be fine. Because this will just be the double watt system. You have an LP, you have a DI, you have you don't need an LP. No. I mean, you don't need an HP because your curb will basically be vertical.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
So just need a
So
DI.
right, you don't need more information than you have right now.
Okay. Same on the other side.
But you do need to make sure this is the lowest point, right? You need to know the TC. So the BC would equal to about 1108.6, 1109.1, and this one is 1108.8. So if that's your lowest point, your TC should be able to contain all the water. So you should be fine in that regard. But you have to check to make sure that there is no water flowing out from your lowest curve, which in this case you don't. So you don't need to elevate the height of that curve. That's a good thing.
Okay.
Yeah. But beyond that, you don't actually have other you probably still need, you need low points in this area.
Yeah.
And that's about it. And curb cut as well.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
On both
sides. At some point you do have this contour as 1110. I don't know if you need to mark it. You don't need to mark it. Just make sure that it's very clear that you, whatever contour inside of that one, you can, if you have another contour, you can use leader lines to mark the contour number of it. But the lines should only be a contour. I don't know if you need HP. You probably do. Yes, you probably do need HPs, and all those will probably need to rely on leader lines.
Okay, right before the next contour line.
Yeah.
Okay. So label those.
These places you would need HP and HP and leader lines.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Thank you. I think those are my main issues. Yeah. I was so focused on studio that I need to work on grading now.
Yeah. Well, the ramp design, I
still
encourage you to, I would encourage you to not do coming back thing. No, instead use a longer. You don't have to stretch that long, but use that distance to try to accommodate most of the elevation changes instead of relying on the last stretch.
Yeah, makes sense.
Very quickly, the contour here. Try not to do that much. No, you're forming a little rich by curving contour like that. So let's make it just retain this portion. Okay, just do that. Yeah, you can drag it the others up if necessary. This contour. Yeah, along this way, you do need to add a few retention areas because that curve, your contour is angling pretty well, so that curve should be pretty useful in terms of getting water in. Yeah, that's the thing that I can see. 109, 10, 0, 8, just one last thing. 99, 10. So this one, yes, the 98 is the one that's back. And these needs to, yeah, I think there's a few contours. You're missing 99 here, I think. Unless you want to do something like this, that's okay too. Just basically reducing this wall. But
the wall on this side.
Yeah, that side would probably change once you change your ramp design. Yeah.
But I can make it hit this wall on this side, on the bottom side.
You could. It could, but I suspect that you will not need that wall anymore once you change the direction of your ramp.
Okay.
Yeah, reducing a wall is it's very helpful in terms of reducing cost. And I don't think I don't think it's necessary to build a wall for the ramp to work.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Now we'll get to work.
You're welcome. So I have Julia.
Hey, Wuhan, Ferris is asking if you can add him to the room.
I did, I think.
Oh, well.
Well, I did, but I don't know what happened. So Stuart is the host right now. I think I will need to.
I can just tell him to ask Stuart.
Yeah, that'll be good. Yeah, because I did. I don't know what happened and it didn't work. And I handed host to Stuart already. Cool. Have a few questions here. What is running on the road? And then this one needs a body attention here. Too steep. Work with the race ramp for car. Flat. Yeah. So for the green roof, you could put the bioretention in your front or in your back plaza. It's basically connected by downspout. So for me, it does seem like this is a good area for you to include your scuppers and treat your roof water. You can even have two of them because you do have green areas on both sides. So that means the downspout can be, you can have a downspout here, and then it connects to a trench drain, making the dairy visible, and then connect to the green area in here. You don't really have to design everything out. You can basically indicate connection from the green roof. And if you want to draw two lines for the trench drain, but make sure you indicate that that's trench drain for roof water, and that's all you need to do. And I would say because you have a quite paved back plaza, I wouldn't, if you want to, you can carve things out here to treat it. But given that you already have this much green space in the front, I think that becomes a pretty natural place for treating your roof water. And keep moving. So is the plaza too flat? Okay. Well, need to look at where the ridge line is. So we have a ridge line like this, and then we have this contour being 1107, 1108. This is 07. I don't think it's too flat, but you should start imagining the transition contour. What does it look like? Because yes, no, your 1107 on this side is on the vegetated area. So slope started to change once you get to these areas. But if you imagine how my contours are basically transitioning. Oh, that's right. Your 7 actually should be, if there's no vegetated area, if we offset this by 50, it's somewhere over here. And then it will be mirrored by sort of like that. Yeah, so then I do agree, your 107, unless you're doing, no, I don't think that's what you were trying to do. I think you're trying to do this. Okay, let's erase this. Yeah, it feels, no, your ridge line seems to be like this, right? Yeah. And then if that's the case, then your 07 should be here. Part of the 07 should be here, mirrored by this line. And then you would have sort of an 07 like that, but then once it gets off your pavement, it could start to turn. And then it could become like that, or no, you would have more flexible contours. If I want to swap this a little bit, I can too, but yes, this area will get too steep. So I still would try to do this, and then my center line actually becomes like that. Now, that's not ideal because you're now overlapping with your ramp. So in order for, yeah, so there was a problem with the center line delineation. Looking at larger scale, what could be done? I know this is not an ideal time to be changing contours, but let's try and see if it's easy enough to make some changes. Better make it straight. Mirror that one. This. So I'm still having a little bit of steeper slope over here, but otherwise, yeah, otherwise this should be fine. Okay. Yeah, that can stay this. Well, I would still say that this area is a little steeper than wanted. You might want to measure it and see if this seems to me a 5% slope in that area, which is a little steep, but still acceptable. If we want to make it flatter, we can keep moving it down here. Yeah, just out of the then this one, yeah, I think this one wouldn't make it too flat in that area anymore. Okay. Drag this up, make it. So Julia, if you could check this elevation. I know that's, yes, 20, that's 2%, that's okay. And you would mirror that one. And if we make this 2% and my ridgeline being here, you want to check that elevation. And then you want to check, again, mirror this by this ridgeline. And this is to assume that I'm doing pavement. I'm working on a plaza surface by 2%, and then I can check these elevations and determine where this line is. Does that make sense?
Not really.
Not really. Well, then basically let's mirror this by the ridgeline, and then we get the location of this one. And that's where your 7 could be. And then if this line is outside of your paved area, you could feel free to connect in any manner to your contour kind of downstream, because now you're on the vegetated area. So it means this portion stays 2%, but once I get to the vegetated area, I can be steeper.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, let's see how much impact it's having on your grading. It's mostly the spots that will be affected. Yeah, I think it's mostly the spots. It's not impacting other things. Okay, I feel this is pretty doable, and that will solve your problem before. The the problem before is your 1107 contour is too far away. It should have been, if this is your HP, it should have been in this area for that not too flat. Does that make sense?
It does.
Yeah, okay. So by moving your center line this way, you should be able to move, basically you're flattening this portion out, move that contour to this place, which is very close to where you originally had it. Okay, that's that portion. This is the ramps, and there's a raised ramp here. Oh,
Yeah.
you had a raised ramp. Yes, there's a connection, and I don't think you would. Okay, you're concerned that there should be a DI or a. So before this area, how does the water get out? Yes, you're correct in that you need a DI in that place. If you have a DI, that DI needs to go somewhere. So that means you need to add a drain here going that way, a trench drain going across the sidewalk into your vegetated area. You would need one more here. Actually, that doesn't go there. That needs to go to the lowest point. Yep. Those are the correct DI locations. Good. I am not convinced. Is this line the TD? The black line here?
Yeah.
That's a ridge. No, yeah, that's a ridge. So you shouldn't have a TD over there. I wouldn't expect that you would need a trench drain in your plaza because all the plaza is draining to your green area without much difficulty. So I wouldn't expect that you would need a trench drain.
Would I need one for the top part of the turnaround?
Top part of the turnaround. Can you annotate?
I can. This part.
That part. I don't think so. You would need this is a drop off. Those are all paved. This is all paved, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you do have oh, that's your lowest point of this portion. Now I understand. Yes, in that case, you do need to direct all these water out. You are only able to treat that much. Yeah, okay, now I understand. Take it back, and you are correct in that you need something here. Yeah, the distance is a little long. Walking space. But that does seem like the closest place that you can use. Well, the water will drain to the curb, and then you have this area lower. So it, yeah, I see. You might, okay. Yeah, I can't think of any better solutions for this area. But you do seem like you have a trench run over here. That's good. TCC, TDCC. The TD will go into this area, right? Oh, and then it's go, okay. That one tackles all the things above. It's good. We have all these. And then this portion has that connect out here. Okay. So you have solutions for all your water. It just, yes, your solution is a little more engineered than another solution where you have point, yeah, for instance, where you have more vegetated area in the middle. But I agree that you do have solutions to account for all your drainage areas. So I would say, yes, please do one, but recognizing it's not a very helpful for the bioretention area inside. If you want to make it very helpful, then you would add trench drains so that you can direct water inside. But if you don't think that's, no, if you think that will complicate the project too much, you actually can, just skip that portion because it's on the ridge anyway. You wouldn't get much water treated. Let's see.
About that spot, wouldn't that be a high spot though, because it has my ridge line in it?
The high spot.
It goes through the potential bioretention area because my ridge line's up there, so the water's flowing away.
Yeah, you will still be able to receive some water, not a lot. You would still be able to receive this portion, just that much, not a lot. It will flow away, but because you have a curb, and you possibly could have high point, so that's how you stop from it being overflowing away. The other thing that I noticed is that there's possibility for you to shape the circle in a different way to enable it to be larger, right? So if I want to confine the traffic a bit more, I would do this. So that would enlarge the middle area for it to be a little more useful. Does that make sense?
It does.
Yeah, so
What
that
is-
will allow it to be more useful.
What is the minimum length? Is it just a road length of like 24 feet?
Yeah, so you would extend that, right? Now, if you want to make this larger so it's easier to turn, you can do that. But I think, at least this portion could be added back to the green area because you wouldn't expect people to just do this, right? You would still want to maintain that road center line. And the only difference I would say would be whether or not I put a larger turning radius when I round the corners, but I wouldn't change the width of the road. Those are still, yeah. Okay, so that's your decision. If it remains on the ridge, you don't have to design one. If you think just a little bit could help, feel free to include a bioretention in that area. Here, too deep. too steep. 18, 12. If it's 25%, I think what we need to evaluate is more if these slopes are too steep here. It does seem you have some wiggle room to tighten this up a little, but essentially you don't necessarily, well, let me clear this portion. It could be check to see if this is exactly the midpoint first. It does seem to me is not a midpoint. So that's the first thing to check. And then in order to enlarge this area, you can tighten the curves up to make sure that these are 25%. And then that area can be a bit larger than what you have here, and make sure the side slope. I think the major constraining factor for you is actually the side slope here. Try not to make it too steep. You would be needing to calculate the high point, and not making the high point too high as if we're doing that. So know what the contour number here is, and then check the HP and the distance, the horizontal distance between the HP and that contour. Make sure is less than 1 to 4 slope. The other thing is make sure, I don't think you have a retention that's deeper than 1 foot. These are all 0.5 foot deep. So it's probably that you had more lines. Is that right? I think you had more lines. Let me clear this and try to make sure. For instance, for this one, your LP is 108, so that's 9. If you have a 9, you don't have a 10. Then you have this is the 10. Yeah, I think you have one more line than necessary.
Okay.
Yeah, for that one.
Wait, why don't I need a 10? Because it says my HP is 1.
No, I mean you don't need the one between the 10 and the 9.
Okay. And for the RDI and curb cut, are they supposed to be the same? Because I have a half a foot difference.
In my opinion, RDI should be lower than the curb cut, because if you just want to use a curb cut as an overflow mechanism, you don't need an RDI. The reason for having an RDI is that you can better control the water to be lower than curb cut. So the inundation doesn't get to as high as the curb cut. So my opinion is the RDI would be more effective. Yeah, will be more effective. Now, if it's lower than the curb cut. Now you have your RDI 0.5 foot below the curb cut. That I think, if we can keep 0.25, I think it's probably enough. You don't have to dig the cell too much. It will make the cell deeper than necessary. So if you have this one of an RDI lower than curb cut, that's good. Then you have this at 0.5 below. You have a 1109 contour, yes. Then you don't need that one. This one will be 1109. That one will be 1110. And then this would be 10. Does that make sense? So you have one more line than necessary for this cell. Yeah. Looks like you have the correct number of lines for the others. I think the main reason is that you lowered your RDI 0.5 below. So that made your cell deeper. Okay. Moving forward to this one. Yes, you have water going down. The way to try to direct water away would be, this is my 13. If you have a curve there, your 13 would be right there. So I would try to form something. Instead of doing that, I would try to do this. So yes, you still have some water going, but that at least now will be able to direct some water away. I know this is getting very flat. So let me zoom out and just take a look at the bigger picture here. How can we shift the contours away from the curb? So you're minimizing the water getting into your parking lot, but not to the point where you need a drain or need a swell. So this is your 9 or 10. This is a 10. And my water is getting in, so I would want to try to, okay. What about if I do this? And then my 13 could go like that. So that makes it only that much is draining to your plaza. And then all these are draining away. Okay.
Okay.
So this basically means I am lowering. Yeah, I still prefer to use annotate here. I am lowering my retention by actually setting it down, below 11110. So in reality, there will be a small drop here for the entrance there. And then this one goes like this, that one goes like that, and the 13 would do their own thing. But this will try to reduce that. If you want to, you could have a drain. I mean, these are going down and keep flowing downstream. You could have a drain somewhere in this area to try to catch some of that water. But because it's relatively clean, I think, and relatively close to where you have retention, I think it's okay. You don't have to include an additional engineered drain in order to catch them before they enter your parking lot.
Okay.
All right. Those are all your questions, right?
I believe so.
Yeah. Well, I would say you're close, but the main thing is the parking lot. The plaza contours in this area. And you have 1108, 98, 97. 97 is somewhere over here. Okay. 96, that's all correct. You have your ramp. I think we're missing one contour, so maybe it's masked. Yeah, it's probably masked. We have a lot of segments of the ramp, which you don't really need. If you basically design everything to be 5%, you don't need all these resting areas, unless for some portion you exceeded 5%. Okay, so those are a lot of segments that you have been designing. Maybe this could be simplified. Yeah, try designing it for 5% all the way through first, and see if you actually need to make a portion of that steeper, and design one resting space only for that segment. I think would be enough.
Okay.
Okay. And then those are the steps. Yeah, stairs still need some more labels. And then right. Okay. This is a ramp that's going down. We're missing a line here somewhere. The ADA ramp thing.
I'm not sure because there's a lot of text boxes there.
Yeah, I think we're missing a line where the ramp starts to climb up. So if there is no, if this is where I would, oh, you actually need 3. So that's one ADA, that's another ADA. This is one ADA. Oh, this is another one. That's where they get off and get to the ramp. So this is the flat and it's flush with the parking lot, and then they start climbing up, right? And then that becomes your ramp, and then all the way, and at some point, you know, it gets flush with your sidewalk here. So the start of the ramp needs to be marked out, which is somewhere there.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the things that I can see for now. I would recommend doing one more round of checking, come up with a system to check, to label the ones that you have already checked, and then just to reduce the errors from previous calculations that are not correct and you have to change, right? Okay, good.
Thank you.
You're welcome. We have David. Questioning, everything is correct. Spot is mostly 2, okay. Other than that, it should be essentially complete. Cheers. All right, let's do a quick scheming. One thing in terms of labeling, I would suggest enlarging the label of the contours just so that I can get the big picture very quickly.
Sure.
1112. Cool. So good. Of trench drain. So yeah, I think I found something. If you have a trench drain, your inlet elevation is the bottom of the trench drain instead of the curb cut. Okay, so now your LP is almost the same. No, it's about 5, 0.5 below your curb cut, but actually the bottom of the trench drain should be around that elevation.
Sure.
Does that make
So I
sense?
take out the LP
Yeah,
lower.
you lower. Yeah, you should lower all the units by ½ foot.
So and do I need a curb cut marked there or no?
You do need a curb cut marked there, but you could also mark an elevation of the TD bottom, but it's not necessary. But we just need to know that you understand that water flow is below the curb cut instead of at the curb cut elevation.
Sure.
Okay, so that applies to all your trench drains. And here. 5. That's good. This is the DC. So if you have a swell, all these locations need spot. Let me turn on copy. So all those spots. Yeah, I think it's only that one that's missing.
Why does that need a spot on it?
Oh, you have a swell line. That's where the swell line intersects with your material change. Oh no, that's not your material. Sorry. I thought that was your the boundary of your plaza.
No worries, but that sounds like
My apologies.
line weights.
Yeah.
I can make bigger contrast between line weights.
Yeah. Those are HPs. So the pavement line is over here. That's correct?
It kind of follows it out and around, if that makes sense.
Let's see. Zoom out. People are dropping off in this area. Should be that one. This is your pavement line.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, so yes, it needs a few more spots because I don't see these spots marked on the pavement. They seem to be off. Yes, they're off the pavement. They're not HP. HPs are here. Okay, so the key issue is you have the spot, but it's marked on the wrong location. It needs to be on the pavement itself.
Sure.
Yeah, and also whenever, no, this one you do need a spot as well because that's where your pavement connects. I would actually suggest that you just basically do a perpendicular to the curb because that angled space rarely get used.
Sure.
Yeah, so then it will be this spot and that spot. If you want to round it, you could round it.
Sure.
Okay, yeah, and everything that applies to the other spots. Those are all in the vegetated area and need to be moved up to the pavement area. This is correct because that's the building corner. And if you have a wall here, this is a trench drain, not a wall. Okay. So that's the same as this. All right, that's okay. You don't need to include two of them. The T will be where those are correct. Okay. We had a wall here. Wow, that is a sophisticated solution.
Does it work though?
I am still trying to find things that are so I wouldn't angle those contours like that because you want to essentially try to achieve this, right?
Sure. So deep in the swale.
No, just get rid of that ridge. This portion is actually draining water in the other direction. So by dragging the contours up like this, you can kind of
Yeah, so
get
like
rid of, yes, yeah, yeah.
deepen the
Okay.
landscape. Yeah.
And then trying to understand the reason for doing the wall here.
If I just stacked the contours, it didn't fit. I originally had the parking lot further over. Stuart early on told me to shift it down 50 feet. I shifted it 30. Contours don't fit. I talked to Stuart about it and I put in a wall.
So the 1112. I'm trying to understand. There is one swell going. Is there any way to simplify this? Going around out of wall and then going there. And these contour will it be able to actually shape the water to those locations? Oh. Is it essentially because we're out of space for
There's not enough
this
space.
area?
There's not enough space between the vegetation and the parking lot to just stack the contours. So the wall was put in.
Yeah. Honestly, my inclination would be, again, I think this, Stuart and I, we would get into probably some argument into this. I think the cost of making this pattern outweighs the necessity of having divergent swell. So if we were to say, I just want the bottom portion to be large, to have a decent, and that becomes where all the water comes out to be here, and I just kind of be content with having a swell, and just using that end where more space is available to treat the water, I would be okay with that solution better or more than having the solution of two swells emerging, kind of coming to the a connection that is not so secure. Let me try to draw a few different lines and see if it works better actually. So I have my 06 here. What if I basically connect my 07 there, and then I know I still have to find where my 07 connects. Yeah, there are many walls. My 07 should be connecting back somewhere here. Yeah. If that was the original plan, then 07 needs to come out over here. And then it could take us a form of doing this. Come up and go there. So we're still getting into the point I am actually damaging that tree, not tree. This is getting very close, so that may need to be moved out a tad to form my 13, 12 actually. No, 13. This is 13. And that's my 13, a 12. Oh, it's just, without being in CAD, it's really hard for me to measure, but I can see why this is. You have space over here and over there. Is the middle that is not going to work.
Exactly. Yeah.
So if I do something starting from here, using that space, do one of that here and do another at the bottom, maybe I don't need the middle one. And then I can get rid of the wall. So that's just my opinion. I think that option, if I were to weigh the cost of that, I would go for that option.
Are you
Let's
talking?
see.
Do you mean like
Yeah.
putting a fire retention up?
Yeah. So we have no. I think we have space in this area and in this area. This is where we don't have space.
Correct.
So I would say put one here, put one there, and remove the wall. That would be the option that I go for. So that's my opinion. And I also want to take a look if this wall has any issues with drainage. Okay. Now, just to make sure, if you choose not to make the change, I want to make sure that the wall actually works.
Sure.
So you have this 9, 8, 10, odd 8. Those are all okay because you have a swell going in that way, and this is conversion. This is getting very close to, the center line is getting very close to so for one thing, I think we could make the connection earlier. 106 probably don't need to be separated by 2 walls.
If I shift that 106 down though, then the gap between the 107 up there and the 106 where you drew it, that's outside of the slope requirements though. Just because all those contours below the wall are already the maximum distance apart that they can be.
Yeah, so that kind of require that you tighten this up. Or what I could do is actually, that one, I can make it like this, and then having the retention kind of drop in this area. So that way you could drag this up a little, so that becomes 50 feet apart.
So you're saying combine those two retentions?
This is your blue area. Oh, that's your blue. Okay. So the conflict start to come out by, so I can see the 19 needs to go there. Then 1, 11, 10. This is 8, 7, 6. My 7. So if that's 5, 6, and 7. Yeah, okay, that still needs to be on the wall. My 6 becomes the first one that connects between 2. My 6 becomes the 6 here. 6 going like this. Okay, that. If I can go like this. And then that one, that. So this. Looking at this portion now. So you have 0.2, and then you have another 2 here. So your other 2, the 10. Yeah, let me save this one. Right. Unfortunately, I need to move. So that becomes that. For this portion, 3, 2, 1, 0, 9. And here I have 12. So I need to come up with a solution to connect to the full 2 back to what if, oh, I don't have any space there to do that. To close it off and having the 11 actually be the first one. My 11 needs to, if I close this one, 11 needs to be the first one, and that one touch the wall and come out of the wall in the other space, okay.
Do you want to move on a different part to not take up other people's time? Or Stuart's already looked at this wall and.
I don't have as many students, so today we can spend just a couple more minutes. So if we were to go this route, well, I definitely would make the solution of this thing being instead of draining to that location, you would be better able to drain your water like that. So you can imagine how these contour will kind of transition, right?
Sure.
Yeah, so that connection to me is at least one thing that we can do to facilitate the flow. Yeah, the thing that we worked on just now is that I don't want a center line. The reason why we're changing that part, if we're keeping the wall, is that I don't want to. Why is it not clear? Huh? Come on, annotating is failing me. Okay, now it worked. I don't want the swell center line to be very close to the wall.
Sure.
And I would try to reduce as much of the wall as possible by combining the 6 at least. And then I would try to sway it out this direction. And then this becomes 3 of it. Yes, it does have 3 center lines in that case. But at least I should make the convergence of these center lines away from the end of the wall. The same thing, yeah, that one goes like that. So your contours, you have all the contours you need. We still need to modify that tip. Now it's getting too close. So what can be done is this can be moved to away from the vegetation. Okay, yeah, so those are the comments with the wall itself. Again, I definitely could talk to Stuart about having the necessity of having the wall, and I would make sure that you won't lose point because we don't disagree with each other. Okay, so that's that. Yeah, except for that, I think we're good. Make sure you mark all the spots on the paved surface. Correct all the trench drain elevations. And there's a little bit of complex design over here as well. It's very close to what Julia has. Yeah, okay, that's good. This is good. I don't know for sure what's the design for this area though.
It just goes down the turnaround.
This is not connected somehow. So it goes up and then go down, right? This is how you basically, this is a multi-ramp.
Yep.
So you have a flat area and then you go up and then you go down and then you go up. Okay. All right. Okay. Sounds good. Well, thank you for being considerate of others' time.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you. Have a good one.
Yeah, you too. So next we'll talk about raw use work. You had a question about, should I include the 1112 in the parking lot? How to draw this line correctly? 1112 contour. Yes, that's one of the contours you have. Yeah, that contour becomes everything that's not inside the parking lot. It's going along the curb as what you had now. So Roy, if you're here, can you mention your confusion about this line?
Yes, Professor, because there's another 112 just on the curb side of the parking lot, and then I don't know if that's okay. This line could directly get into the parking lot, the turning point there, or should I just is it correct line currently, or?
Yeah, they are correct. They're currently correct because you have one of the 1112 inside your parking lot going like this along the curb and then go like that and then go this way, right? And this is a close contour on the vegetated area. Okay, this is one in your green area. Yes, that's a correct contour. And I would say, yeah, a lot of base map correction still needs to happen by having a curb. So that we understand where your vegetated area is and where your driving area is. So that's the first question. Other things that you want to talk about here?
Yes, the question is on the
contour line.
Yes, I just refining all the contour lines, or I don't know if that's.
So 08, going like that, 07. I'm not sure your 07 and, okay. Your 07 don't have, yeah, you have 207. You should have 207 instead of 1. Because, well, depend on, let's see.
This is one.
So this is your 08. And then if you have one of these, if your original 07 is here, then your contour needs to connect like this. Oh, change a different color.
Sorry.
So your 07 needs to go like this. Does that make sense?
Oh yes,
What is that?
I missed the
Yeah,
line. Why doing the why I'm trying to refining the contours. Yeah, I
yeah.
missed that one.
So that is the correct 07. And what about other contours? Well, they are too close here. You should be able to tighten things up early on like this. So you don't have to get into that area at all. Does that make sense?
Yes, Professor. That makes
Yeah.
sense.
So we should try to make your contour stay close to your original one. And I would suspect that you could do the same here. If we move the drawing over. Your 8, your 13 and your 12, I would say probably are too far away apart. If this is your 13, you wouldn't have your 12 sort of doing that. You would try to drag it up and then do this. Just because that distance might be too far away, right? So if I have a 13 over here, I have a 12 over here, this area could be too flat. So you want to try to drag your 12 closer to your 13 to reduce, would actually to increase the slope for this area. Okay,
Okay.
that's
Yes.
one thing. And then now these can tighten up a little, and that can start here, that can start there, and this can start here. So you can see how I'm starting to connect much closer to, not closer to that area, but I try not to modify that area as much as I can. Okay, so those are the contour comments. And if we keep going here, those contours look okay. So 1108. Then those are pretty flat. And then, well, the ramp is not connected yet. Okay, so if your plaza is at, well, your plaza wouldn't be at that high. Your plaza will be slightly above 9, even 9.1. And then your bottom will be 99.1, and your 99 will be somewhere here. And you should look for 98. 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's your 8. That 8 can go around. So yeah, your contour here needs to move to enable your 98 is to stay here. Where's the line? No, actually, your 98 should stay here. Does that make sense?
Professor, can I just maybe reconnect the from 99, 98, and 97 outside the retaining wall, like just don't connect them with the retaining wall and just reduce the slope outside the wall area, and then remain the current situation, or I don't know how I deal with the ramp area with the slope.
So if this is 9, you could set this as 9. This is 99. And your 98, if your 98 is here, your 98 could stay. Now, mostly where it was. So your 98 could be here. Your 97 needs to stay where it is because you don't have any more space to keep pushing. So you should try to keep 97 here. But you can see I am not connecting 97. So 98 and 99 should hit the wall, and you're running out of wall space, which could be changed. Now, by dragging this up, right? So you should have, that is 2, and you should be able to have 1 connecting like this, and then 99, and then 98. So you should aim for this situation in the end. Now I know I'm not keeping the correct spacing, and you should try to change that. But what you need to connect to is this location. This location, if your ramp needs to end here, you would cut a hole in the wall here, right? And you would aim for this elevation being 98.6 or 8, something like that. So if this is 3, 2, 1, 0, 9, and that you almost need to hit, fit all these contour in, which means you still don't have enough length. Does that make sense?
Yes, Professor. I don't know if that could still under the slope of 8%, or I don't know if that's too much contour line contact with the ramp, or I will try, but I don't know if that's okay for me to contain those slope,
So
the height difference.
your easiest solution, the easy route would be sway this out. No, yes, this is, you're trying to connect to 98.7, and you just lengthen that. That's your easiest solution. Basically, you would calculate that spot, and those differences between your 98.7, and you use 5% to determine the length. And you drew a polyline that's exactly that length, and you find out where these contours should be, and then you connect them to the existing contours. Not existing, proposed contours. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Yes.
And it will look something like this. Tighten it up like that. Okay? Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
no problem.
That's for the ramp. The bioretention, you have a few of them. We talked about having trench drains along this way because you don't have enough side slope to be able to direct water over. So these are trench drains. Make sure you make it very clear that they are not contours. Right now, these are contours, but I don't know where the trench drain is. So you should have trench drain for this portion. Once you get to this area, it's okay because then you can start cutting holes in your curb. So TD would need to be shown for that one. And I would say most of your bioretention hasn't been designed yet, so you should really spend some time on it. That one, you need to have one at the end of the line. You have trench drain over here, so that's okay to have one over there, have one over here. There's one over there and here. I would try to combine these two if possible because they're relatively clean water. And I would separate this one because that is dirty water. So instead of having one from the center, from here and the trench drain, I would combine the one coming from the center line and the trench drain into one. Those are plaza clean water, and this is coming from the drop-off area. And yes, we need a rain garden here because you have a big space. You should utilize that. And these ones, those are okay because you have side slope. But it's a matter of trying to cut and connect in, we're missing a 13 contour over here. Make sure the spacing is correct. We have cut the 12 over here, so make sure that we have a 12 correctly cut off in that area. So what else? Those are, okay. Yeah, those are about the bar retention. And we don't have a stair yet. We should. We don't have the backside contour yet. We should. All right. Yeah, I think I have pointed out enough for you to work on. And you definitely should utilize today and tomorrow to get any feedback you want through email. Just to make sure when you make some progress about, for instance, about the ramp or stairs, you can make sure you include specific questions in your email to us. So make sure that those distances are okay. Okay. Yeah, otherwise, I think the principles, are well understood. It's just the drawing needs a lot of work. And the ramp. We don't have a ramp yet. We don't have a ramp yet. We still need a ramp. Yeah, we do have a ramp, but it only has four spot elevations. And if you're designing a wall kind of a system, you need to indicate with 2 lines, there is a low wall to shape the size of the ramp, or you need this type of. So you either have this or you have that. Okay, so it's more than 4 spot elevations.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, that's that. Okay, it's time to get to work.
Yes. Sorry, Professor. Maybe I really focus on studio, and then I just have to work, fight for my final project here. Really, I'm really sorry about it. Oh
yeah,
no.
I understand. Well, this should be your sole focus from this point on until Sunday, and try to reach out early today or tomorrow if you need some help with email. And otherwise, I think, yeah, it's basically putting enough time on this. Okay.
Got it. Ready. Oh my gosh.
All right.
So maybe one last question is about the spot elevation. So is there any missing point here about spot elevation? I only have the bottom of curve, not the top of curve yet. So I don't know if.
So no, all the circles needs quartz, and then you need all the swell, when the swell intersect with the circle, you need spot elevations there as well. So all those needs elevation, that needs elevation, those bottom wall needs elevation, and the stairs needs its own. Wherever the ramp turns, it needs elevation. The end of the swell line on the edge of the plaza needs elevation. The same thing, the quartz. And then all these seem you covered the oh, okay, the ridge line, the end of the ridge line needs one, not this one, the ridge line. your trench drain, your DI, your this seems okay. Your pavement, yes, that's your pavement line. The wall here, yeah. The size, currently the size of your spots are too small. Yeah, if you should look through 235 videos to find any guidance in terms of spots and the overall hierarchy and how to make that happen in CAD. If you still have difficulties, again, try to reach out to the TA, but before you head into the weekend. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So those are the spots that I see that are missing.
Okay. Got it.
Okay.
No problem. Thank you. Thank you so much,
You're
Professor.
welcome. You're
Yeah.
welcome. And let's talk to Grace.
Hello,
How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing well. So we have the issue with the retention. How to divide this into by retention? Okay. So first we identify, yeah, there is a dead corner here. So I need a DI.
Okay.
And those elevations become my essential divider. Well, I shouldn't say the contour line becoming our divider, but it does make it easier to create distinctively, I would say, cells with distinct elevations. So that becomes one of them. And if you need to change the shape of that contour line, that's okay. Definitely, it could be flexible because what matters is actually the curb elevation. Those 2 points don't change. Okay, so then this could become, for instance, like that to enable for this to be one unit. But I would say you start with the DI here and say how many retention do I need, right? If I put one in the middle, then that becomes my, no, I'm using the criteria, what looks good along that curve to determine how I divide it. If I have, so basically you want them to, if you divide them, you want them to have enough elevation difference to make it worthwhile to divide them. If they're only a quarter of a foot in elevation difference, it might not be worthwhile to separate them. It will be less complicated in terms of construction if you combine them. But if the elevation difference starts to become like a foot or a half foot in difference, then yeah, it will make it more kind of balance cut and fill if I honor that difference in natural elevation and separate them, right? So for this one, you could design for, you have a multiple solutions. I could say, let's change that shape of this contour to, what I only need to keep is that one and that point, right? Let's change the contour shape becoming like this. So this is my first unit, okay? And then that becomes my second unit, and that becomes my third unit. That's how you can divide them. Or you could say, doesn't seem like necessary if I divide them two, I could do this, then that becomes one unit, which I actually don't recommend doing just because there is about a foot of elevation difference across this unit, right? And then that one, that can become one of them. If you want to further divide we can do more of that, but I don't think that's what you wish at this point. So overall, in reality, we aim for the cells to be about a half or more in elevation difference. In this case, we could say we have an entrance here that becomes the first unit, right? And then we have another entrance somewhere here that becomes the second unit. And then we have one more entrance at the lowest level that becomes a BI, and this becomes my third unit. And keeping the contour connection point constant, you could manipulate and make it flexible in terms of how you connect these contour in between. Does that make sense?
Yes, that helps. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So what you would do is, that's the lowest point along that curve. Open that up. This is about the middle way. Open it up and open this up. If we want to do more, I can open this up and form that one individually, but I don't think it's absolutely necessary to do that. So start simple. Okay, start simple and make sure you cover or make sure you design all your green space into a bioretention area. And we want you to try to succeed in completing that process. Instead of saying, okay, that can be optimized into 2 because right now the solution, they are too deep. No, that's another level, and we wanted you to start with the first level and conquer that first. Okay.
Okay.
And so the next question is the TFIP.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if I should change it.
Well, depends on your contour in front of the plaza, and we have this one as, is that 6?
Oh, that should be 5. Oh,
Oh, okay. Let's see. I'm gonna track it down. That's fine. Okay. And I'm looking for. That's your 6 before. Where does 6 come up? Yeah, it's about here. There. We're missing a contour. We're missing a contour on top of the, yeah, I think we're missing this one. Is that right?
I'm not sure because
Is that one?
honestly, I'm not sure because Stuart told me, like, I feel like I've changed it a bunch of times and I think I just got kind of lost.
Yeah, we're missing one more here for 5. There's a small 5 closed, enclosed.
Okay.
That's a closed contour. So that's the 5. Your 6 should go like this. And then it needs to be on the ramp somewhere, but eventually come up like this. So depend on, yeah, you would have, yes, you would have a small wall like that. So yours, it roughly should look like that. Then your 5 is a little too far away. Where is the center line?
I think I don't know. I might have deleted it accidentally. I know it's supposed to go through there.
This is the center line, right?
Mm-hmm.
If this is the center line, actually that shouldn't be there. It should be like that. Different color. That should be like this. And it's probably going to hit the wall. And I would say in that case, why don't we Yeah, why don't we change, actually, better if we change the direction. So make it like that. Then offset this by 50. So if this was the original line, offset by 50 will be something like this. Then that one becomes your 5. Yeah, I think a couple of contours got lost. Now you have your 6. So this is 5. This is 5. Your building FFE should be 5 point something because you don't have a 6, right? You only have 5 on your plaza. So that means you couldn't possibly get up to 6 without any stairs.
Okay.
The highest elevation you can get is actually this one. And you should calculate this distance and by 2%, and that's your SFE. Okay. If you enter, that seems like where you enter the building. If you enter the building from here, for instance, you actually have 1105 as your SFE. So this is 5, and the back is 95, and you're having 94 as your last contour. So your wall would actually be kind of like that. And yeah, your 5 would need to be the 4. Actually, your 4 needs to be the last contour. 5 hits here, the 4 goes around, and that's the back of the design.
Yeah, I haven't. I know I have to put the rest of the contours on the back still.
Yeah.
I haven't done that yet, but yeah, I'm not sure how I kind of like got that far with that FFE without it like being changed, because the one in blue is what Stuart recommended, but I think that's why I got confused, because I got like the contour didn't, like, since it was only the 5 on the plaza, I think I just got confused.
Let me pull up Stuart's drawing yesterday. Is it maybe that he suggested swapping the contour number by 1?
Maybe he did, and I didn't catch it. I don't know.
Let's see. Yeah. Yes, he did suggest swapping the contour number by 1.
Okay, then that's my fault.
Yes.
Okay.
Let me download this one and I can show you. The reason he suggested that is he wants to make it higher in the back, so it's closer to your original contour, and then you have less proposed change. Let me open this up. So if you look at the numbering, oh, I think seven, it's probably because the original contours were marked off. So you have the HPS equals to 1106.5. Yes, that's correct. So this is not 1105, this is 6.
Yeah, I
He did
think,
not swap the number. Yeah, he did not swap the number. I think it's the labeling that got.
yeah, I think I've just like confused myself. I think because I lost that 6 contour that comes across the
Yeah, here.
plaza.
Around.
I think I got confused there.
Yeah. Now you have a good set of a contour here. Yeah, this is very much similar to what I suggested. You know, pushing the swell
Right,
line is
yeah.
actually not yeah, there was something turned off before, I think. Okay.
Yeah,
So
I think
that's
I just
that.
confused myself and then, okay.
Cool. All right. So here in this version, you have the contours added. Now the BSFC being 96.50, you actually have 96 as your last contour. Your 96 was here. And then, well, I still think that you need to pull them back. Yes.
Yeah,
It
I said, I just didn't get there.
Pull them back because this is 96.5. Your 96 will be somewhere 25 feet apart. So that one, that original one cannot stay there. So the wall needs to be extended somewhere here. So your 96 will be there. That's your wall. And your 95 can stay where it was. Okay, so that's that.
Okay.
And then all these 6, 7, all these needs to be added. You have 6 here, and you can see that your 6 doesn't need to be moved much. So those, most of them can actually stay where they were. Okay, that's that. Let's take a look at the one question on the left side. Do I need retention here? Well, let's take a look at his markup. So yeah, he proposed to have, this is not a swell, this is a ridge. So yes, you would have some water drain to your parking lot. And this one kind of takes care of that one. This part, it would be nice if you have something as a drain, I think. Yeah, let's basically just put a drain because you have a considerable amount of area that drains here. Let's put a drain over here at the lowest point. So the water will, most of them would drain. Yeah, honestly, what we would want is actually a trench drain over here. But no, regardless, put a drain. Put a drain. Oh, clear, please. Put a drain over here. So you can catch some of the water. Not catching a lot of them. Let me think a little more. What can be done? Use that one. So we have 11. Let's do 12. Is that actually 12? Where's the 13 then? That's 15, 14, 13. Oh, okay. So I'm gonna correct. Correct Stuart. Yeah, he's missing one contour. So let's see, this is 13. And then we're trying to get to 10 here. So this is 9. 10, 11, 12. 12 will be here, 11, 10. So 10 would do something like this instead. And 13 remain where it is. 12 needs to do something like that. My 12 is over here. So I don't try to create that ridge at all. I would try to make them drain that way. Okay. So my 12 goes up, connect here. My 12 goes up, connect somewhere there. My 11 goes up, connect here. And there. My 10, this is my 10, yes, my 10, do this. The other 10 goes in between here. Yeah, that's my 10. Connect back to 10. Can you see how this actually solved the problem of having too much water draining into your parking lot? It's actually
Yes.
all most direct away. So the 9 here would be connecting over there. And again, I would try to do this instead.
Okay.
Maybe just, yeah, this is becoming a little too flat. Yeah, we do need a little bit of the curving. Let me reduce some distraction here. So I have in my 9. This is my 9. That's my 10. So 10, I would try to drag it. Yes, okay. Because otherwise it will become too flat. My 10 would do something like this. And my 9 would do something like that. So then, wow, again, this is a little too flat, but yeah, a little too flat. Take it back. So the 10 still needs a little bit work. 10 still needs a little bit work of doing this. You would have some water, but not a lot. Only this little water will drain to your parking lot. So in that case, you don't need anything because most of the water you can see is or draining that direction. Okay, that's a screenshot worth having.
Yep, I have that. Thank you.
Cool. Anything else?
My other PDF is more detailed with my.
Yeah, it's on your sheet here. You have, oh, the ramp.
Yeah.
Concerned with
I
the
don't
ramp.
know. Yeah. I think like the general layout is right, but I'm not sure if it's like, if it actually works.
Okay. So the general layout 1096.3, that's okay. And we should make it 5%, not exceeding 5. And we then need to start, we then need to start laying out the contours on the ramp.
Okay.
Right? So if this is your, that's your 6, so we need to change the line type. Okay, that's actually the 6 instead of the 5.
Mm-hmm.
That's 6. You would be calculating these spots. No, so they are 5 point something, right? Because we're going down, but they are very close to 6. So 5.9 something, right? and your next contour on
Oh,
the
yeah,
ramp will
okay.
be 5. Yeah, will be
Okay.
5. And then 4, 3, 2,
Oh, okay.
0,
Yeah.
9, 8, 7, 6. You're actually pretty close. No, I think this is estimate, but they should be roughly correct in terms of contour locations.
Okay.
The one thing that I have concern is that your 96 is somewhere here. But instead, you're trying to get to 96 over here.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that limits otherwise you could go to 96 at this location, but you have to use all this to finish attaching your 96 contour. I think that's a little hard. So what I would recommend is you would try to angle your ramp. I think angling your ramp would make sense because you can see that your current ramp is parallel to original contour.
Yeah.
You're trying to create a slope. You're trying to create a slope in the direction where there was no slope naturally. So that becomes difficult, right? But if you angle them, then originally you would have some slope on your ramp. It will make it a lot easier to attach the contours, right? So if you have a ramp, and if you have the original contours like this, but you are actually trying to create contours like that, then how do I connect back to this, right? It's very hard to do that. So that's why angling your ramp and for it to connect down to the bottom would make more sense.
Okay. Honestly, I'm not sure that I knew that I could connect it to the bottom instead of there. So
Yeah,
I will do that instead. Okay.
Yeah. If you want to connect to here, you could do this.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that will be easier.
All right.
But we're trying to utilize this wall space to attach back to 96 contour. So it makes sense if you have 96 actually at the bottom.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so that's the ramp. Okay, I think I have one more question here about this ramp.
Yeah. Wait, also I think I just remembered last week you said I should probably like move it, like either extend the pavement. I just remembered that you said that and I didn't I didn't do it. So
because this is the driving aisle, you wouldn't expect there's a parking space there. So that needs to be moved. Then the ADA, you don't need this one. You could just use that one if that's the ramp that you're trying to design.
Okay.
I think that actually makes sense, because this is all green area, right? This is all green. And then they would just come out and get up with that one single ramp. And at the same time, these can be shared. These can be shared by the ADA. Do you have ADA as well here? If you need 3 to 4, and we're getting rid of one of them. No, either way, you can put it here, or you can put it here. Yeah, now should be. All right. So those are all your questions marked out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I probably should move forward to. No.
Okay.
Yeah, quickly.
That's fine.
What?
Oh, I just if you could just take a look at one of my like bioretentions along the swale on the left, just to make sure I'm on the right track. Sorry, I don't know if that's descriptive. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see.
I think I'm missing the RDI and the high point, but just like generally, if that's.
You don't need an RDI along this way because.
Okay.
The curve
I
is
didn't think so.
how you. Yeah.
Yeah. I just got a little confused. So.
So you have 8.7. Most of them are correct. You do need HPs.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, we need HP.
Okay.
And we do need the contour number 1108.
Okay.
And that is, well, if that's 08 and this is 09, then you don't necessarily need an HP there. That's 10. Yeah, you don't have an 09 contour in between. So I no, this one you don't need an HP because
Okay.
no, basically you have curb cut equals to that. So the water will come out at this elevation when it's full. Your bottom is that, so you have a 108 contour for sure, and you're not designing for it to be deeper than that. If this is 08 and this is 09, you need another 9 actually. Oh, okay, yes. Okay, you need another 9 between this one and that one. That's why you need it. Okay, I take it back, get rid of it. Basically, you can't have 10 and 8 next to each other, right? So you would have an 8, and then you would have a 9, and then that's another 9. That's your HP.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Yep.
That's that. Okay, sounds good.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Oh, Tyler. Hey, Tyler.
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
All right.
All right. Heading in there. A few more
Yeah.
days to go.
Yeah.
I'm counting as well. So, can the bioretention cross a contour like that? Nope. It needs to be
Right.
wrapped around.
Like right. Oh, hang on. Where's my annotation?
And then,
Wait, can I annotate? Oh, yeah, there it is. So it should be like over here, like that.
let me zoom in. Take a look at the specific contour.
Because
that
I just remember.
crosses.
I mean, I know Stuart. Clear. Yeah. Stuart said I had to have this trench drain here, because
Yes, that's
of
correct.
the way the water's moving, and so
Yep.
I kind of thought I needed it. Should I just have it like right after that, then?
So yes, that's, well, you could modify your straight contour here.
How?
You could modify this contour for it to be like this, and then go like that, and then keep going. So then this one becomes, actually your retention design feels like you're designing a wall system here, because these contours hit the edge of the
Should they
pavement.
not stack since it's a sidewalk?
I think it's going to be easier if you don't do that,
Okay.
because it's more expensive. Yeah, it's more expensive,
okay,
and you
okay.
would want this water to actually to flow gently to your cell. So
Okay.
make it detached
Make them close
from
contours.
the
Yeah.
edge.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
it will actually be cheaper
Okay.
to build. And this
Yeah. No,
one,
I forgot about that. I thought
yeah,
that was only a wall thing. I thought that was something else.
yeah.
Okay. So you're saying change the contour to be like that, how you just drew the red line, and then it should only go like this, like that. How it's so it's all right. Oh, yeah. Could you draw it again?
So I keep that and I keep this, because keeping these 2 points, make sure these surfaces are at 2% uniform slope. Very, very easy to design, right? Now I can drag that contour to be like this. So then this trench drain would be coming out. Also, yeah, definitely it only comes out here, but then you have a slope for the water to flow down. Okay, now this is 07, and you need to determine whatever the elevation is out of your trench drain at the bottom. So it would likely be below 6.5. And then you have a 6. Yes, you have a 6 as your retention contour, as a closed contour. And then you have a few high spots, because your next 6 is actually going around.
Okay. Let me get a picture. Okay. So before we move on, so literally just this spot elevation at the bottom here that I just drew is all you need. Is that all you need to determine, like, because there's just going to be like a gap between where the water I guess exits the trench drain
Mhm.
and then where the bioretention starts. Like, is there like that? Is that
You
distance?
do need an RDI, right?
Oh, do
Yeah.
I need an RDI for this too?
You do. You have an RDI there.
Oh, I do. Oh, okay. I just didn't
Yes,
see it.
you have an RDI there. You just need to make sure your RDI elevation is lower than the bottom of the trench drain where water flows out.
Yeah, lower than so. Okay, so lower than the point at the bottom, you mean?
Yes.
Like that at this point. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay. Moving forward with the other questions on the left. How do I grade these correctly?
Oh, that's referring to the two these two.
Yeah. So that
I
one,
don't know
you
if I
look
need
at
one
the
in the center.
TBC here. So that one is 7.82. And then you have LP equals to 1107.1. That's good. And you don't necessarily have an 08 contour there. Just
Yeah, I was
because
confused on when we need more than one contour or not. I just was like, I just didn't quite understand if we needed one
Yeah.
or not, because I just saw the
your
difference of
08 contour is actually along it's on your curb.
Okay, so just
Does that make sense?
get rid of the 108 basically.
You don't even have a 1107 because your LP
Oh.
is above 1107. So there's
Wait,
really
so
no
what is
contour.
what's the contour then?
There's no integral contour inside there, but you do have one that was a leftover, not leftover. That is the contour
Yeah,
that
that
when you
one.
dropped. Yes, that one would go around just like I remember I showed Julia. Yes, I showed Julia how that should actually, you can change the shape of that contour to accommodate the cell within a narrow area. So we don't need the 07 and 08 if 07.101 is your LP. And then we have this be what's the contour number here? That's the
I think it's the 108. Yeah, it should be the 108, I think.
This is the 08. So your 08 can do this. So that's your 08. And everything in between is your bioretention. Because this is lower than 08, you don't really need a high point, because your DI is basically keep making sure that it doesn't go out of the cell.
Okay, so no high points.
Oh, one more thing. There's an 08, then there's this, that's lower than 08. Should be okay because your 08 is over here, that becomes your high point.
So so this blue line, where is it closing in on? Is it just closing in on this?
So your 08 runs along the curb, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a closed contour, runs along the curb.
So then there's nothing outside, so there's nothing in here anymore, and it's just this 108 over here, essentially.
Yeah,
okay.
That's correct.
Let me get a screenshot.
Oh, wait a minute. Let's clear this because I want to back out and see the bigger picture. Your bigger picture is your 08.
What do you mean?
Your 08 goes like this, right?
I think, yeah.
And then this comes in, and then it goes like that. So that's your 08.
Yeah.
Yeah, and inside here is your retention area.
Yes.
You don't need a contour because the bottom is not below 7. If you want to make it 107 contour, you can push LP down so that you can have an 07 contour. And then that makes it clear that you understand you understand how to grade these. But you don't necessarily have to. Does that make sense?
So I don't need any retention system at all here.
You have it. You just don't have an integral contour in it.
So I should just get rid of the contour lines.
Yes, you should just get rid of the contour lines.
Okay, so get rid of the contour lines, but the LP and HPs are right. Or wait, you said
The
I don't need an
LP,
HP.
you do
do I?
not need an HP because you have an 08 contour wrapping outside close to the curb.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. So I literally just need the curb cuts, the two curb cut, or here. Oh, did I not label that? I guess I did not label that.
Yeah, you
CC,
have
yeah.
that one.
Yeah, so I need the two and the low point, and that's basically it for this one.
So that curb cut is 1107.50. You have
Because I have two different curb cuts,
1107.04.
so that's.
Yeah, that's okay.
So which one should I base
If
the
that's the
LP off
case,
of?
yeah, well, if that's the case, your DI is not actually low enough. Okay, so I did not see that you have another curb cut over here.
Yeah,
If that's the case,
I didn't label that CC. I don't know why.
yeah, water will flow down out of it.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
So
if you
get
keep
rid of
that one
one?
there, if you want to keep this one here that accepts water of that much, which I don't think it's necessary. So one option, get rid of this curb cut. The
just keep
other
the other one
option,
because the other one has more water going into it, basically.
yes, yeah. The
Okay,
other one, the other option, okay, the other option is keep this and this, but include an RDI that is lower than that instead of this at this elevation. That will make sure that my water, the highest water level that I can get is 1107.50 or even lower than that. That makes sense? So if I keep these and that, I need to include
then I
an
need an
RDI.
RDI. But
RDI
wouldn't it
needs
just be
to
easier just to do what you said earlier? Just take out that one over here? Like,
yeah,
isn't
you
that just
could.
easier?
You could.
Okay, I'll just do that.
I'm basically offering a few different
Oh,
options.
okay. I'll go with the simple one, I guess.
Sounds good.
So okay, so just getting rid of that one and getting rid of the contours, basically, and everything else. Oh wait, did I wait? So then that would mean that the LP is going to be 1107.20 then instead. If I'm basing it off of this one.
This is okay because you don't have to make it just 0.5.
0.5. It can be lower.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I don't need any contour. Okay. Let's picture real quick.
But I do want to point
yeah.
out that we still need to design no retention in the middle because
yeah,
I
didn't know if we needed one there or not, so that makes sense.
Yeah,
though.
we do.
Okay,
we
so
do because that's the longest space. This is
probably
the longest space you are receiving water. You don't want to pipe everything down here.
Mhm.
You want to have either another one or another two. So you can kind of see this is dealing with all this water, and that is dealing part of this. This is actually pretty important to have
So
some division. Yeah.
can I just have like one like that?
You could have one in the middle. Yes. Yeah.
And then I'd have one curb cut here, one curb cut here, one curb cut here, oh wait, no.
No, you don't need that one. That is on the face.
So
that is not receiving water. Just along this curb.
So just along this, okay.
Yeah.
Let me just draw this so I can take a picture of for myself.
Well, one more thing. If you have two curb cuts, it will be 2 units. Because you can see these
separate.
2 curb cuts, they are more than
okay.
more than half foot apart in elevation. So you need to separate them.
Okay, that makes sense. And then same thing. Okay, so with this side over here, I don't need 2 contours probably.
No.
I just have
the same
this
thing.
one.
You apply the same rule as the other one.
So, but this time I only have this one curb cut here. That's correct, right?
Your curb cut needs to be on the space that is receiving water.
Isn't
It
that,
needs to be
is
on that side.
yeah, it's right here.
Yeah, you have that one. Yes, you have that one. Cool.
Okay. So, okay, just getting rid of that, just getting rid of the contours and the HBs, right? Getting rid of those two things, right?
So your CC, all this is actually individually needs to be considered kind of based on its specific elevations. If you have 1109.56, the RDI is 1109.46, the bottom is 09.06, then you don't have a contour inside it. You don't have 1109 or 11110.
Right.
If we check the bottom, yeah, I'm just talking out loud so that I can
Okay, yeah.
do the calculation along the way, see if you have anything that's actually draining out of the other curve. If this, no, we need to check the elevation of the lowest point. So that is 09.17, 09.67, and this is 09.56 and 46. Well, I would say there wouldn't be no water coming out of the curb here, but you can also see that it's a pretty small kind of difference. If you want to build in extra safety measure, I think some HP here would make sense. But I just want to point that out. You know, for that to raise that higher has its values, just to make sure that you don't have water coming out of the lowest curb, which is this area. Okay.
So, okay, so, but it's, you
So
still
get
want me
rid
to
of the, yeah. Get
so
rid of
I'm just
the,
marking it so I can have it, but so get rid of these two, and
yeah,
then have HPs on this side, but not down here. I think I don't need that one.
exactly. Yes. Yeah, that's
Okay.
correct.
Do I need to still follow the 25% here?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, I still need to do that. Okay. Okay, here, let me just get a picture real quick. So I remember. And then, so with this RDI, is this correct? Just going like 0.10 under the curb cut like that?
Yeah,
Is that,
that's
okay,
okay.
yeah, I just wanted to make sure I
Yeah.
understood that. Okay. Yeah, okay, that's all. I think all I have for that one. Oh, I
Yeah,
guess, yeah, center one. I didn't know if I needed something.
I would use the same comment as I did for Stephanie, I remember.
Could you
It's
repeat it?
basically, it's very small. It's very small, but it is receiving water. So it would be beneficial if you actually make it larger, just based on, you know, what's the radius that's necessary here. It feels like you don't really need that much of a
I'm
radius
not
there.
sure. I could check, but
So
I'm pretty sure I don't think I have much more room to expand that without.
basically, you can see, you know, that's your driving aisle, right? You would maintain that, you know, along with you're getting sort of wider here.
Mhm.
So that definitely is wider than this. You have some room, not a lot, but I would say it would probably be worth it expanding it, just because a little small area like that, you would almost think is not worth doing the retention with an RDI. Only if you have a relatively sizable space, then you would say, okay, it's worth using that space
Well,
for
would it
all
make
those
sense to
designs.
just even have it just with like two curb cuts instead of an RDI?
You could have a curb, yeah, you could have a curb cut there.
There,
Yes,
there and
yeah,
there.
that's correct. That's correct.
So, but you still think I need to make it bigger?
I still think you have room to make it bigger
Okay.
because your radius kind of increased, and we're not thinking. Now, if this is the drop-off area, you actually need space over here for other cars to get through instead of that area, right? So I can see, you know, that widening of that driving aisle, probably due to multiple iterations, and probably did not come back to check the radius, how it changed over time.
Okay, so after I make it bigger, do I just have like this one contour that would be
Yeah.
like that, and then I just have two curb cut here and a curb cut here, and no RDI basically?
You can, yeah, you can.
Okay. So then you were saying something about the distance here. So this distance here has to be wide, but then this distance here can get shortened, basically.
If you're dropping people off here, you would envision that if I need space for cars to drive through, this is the space that I need, right? Because you would imagine, okay, I parked one car, one bus, and people are getting off, but there's other people coming, they need to go through. It's not this area that needs to be widened.
Yeah. So basically, make the this should be the widest.
Yes,
And then
exactly.
these should be so just to, I don't know if you know them off the top of your head. So this is the one that's supposed to be like, I believe 50.
Overall,
feet?
I remember being 111. No, not
111.
111. 110. Sorry, 110.
110. And then here and here, what should those ones be then?
I wouldn't have the numbers off the top of my head.
But they need to be big enough to accommodate for two cars. Or
Yeah,
like yeah, two
that's
cars.
correct.
So 20. So at least 24. Or should it be
20,
larger than that?
25 plus 2 would be, yeah, that needs to be at least 50.
Wait, that one? I thought you said 110.
That's the diameter.
Oh,
okay,
sorry. Yeah.
Diameter.
So
Yeah.
okay, so I was right. So this, okay, here, I'm just gonna clear this. So this one is 50. And then this one is like 25 is what you're saying, or something?
Not that smaller.
Oh, okay. How much? Oh, so like 43, something like that, maybe?
So how much did you use this? Use it for the driveway there?
What was that? What was that again?
Well, what's the dimension here?
I'm
What
pretty
did
sure
you
that
use
should be
for that one?
24.
25?
24, 25 here. Give me a
25 there.
second. It should be, yeah, okay. So it's going to be from the front curb. Yeah, 25.
So if that's 25, you could basically leaving the 25. Make sure you offset this portion, the outside outline of the drop-off by 25, so that you have a clearly designated center line for that driving aisle. Does that make sense?
Could you maybe erase that and draw it again? Sorry. I can't, I'm just kind of getting confused with all the lines.
So what I'm trying to say is that if we clearly delineate the 25 being the driving aisle, then I know that the first car would need that much space to get.
And then, okay, and then base, and then
That's how much space the first car is.
from
And
like
then we could,
here, that's when you need the 50.
yes. And then we could start tightening it up for this area. So one more car can get through here and then merge back to the center line of the
So 50 and then it's 25 then, or how much then do I
5
need
over
here?
here, 25 over there.
25 here and 25 here. Okay, here, let me just get a picture. Okay, okay, yeah, that makes sense for that one. Let's see what else I have. Oh yeah, okay, so yeah, I guess depending on, yeah, so this one or whatever, it doesn't matter which one we want to start with, I guess. Yeah, so for this one, I didn't understand how to quite do it right, because like we didn't have a curb cut. I based it off of this 106 basically. But then I'm looking at this, and this LPS is also 106.5, so I'm not sure if that actually works now. So I think it actually probably should be lower.
So you have a contour like that. The swell. Oh, just trying to see how it connects to the plaza there. 5. Well, would this be a little too close to, let's see, what's this number?
What number?
That's that
That's
is
the 108.
8.
Yeah, it's the 108. So yeah.
If that's 8, you probably still have a little bit of 9 there. Maybe just close to 9. You have to check.
You got another
You
one?
have to
Really?
check. You have to check the distance.
I'll check. Yeah, I'll check. I didn't read
It just feels like 50, this.
You think because
is
so
about
measure 50 feet basically here?
exactly. Yes, measure
Okay.
50 feet. If that's the 8, you won't be able to get to 7 just yet, because you can see how close you're to the 8, right? So the 7 won't be here. 7 would probably, once this gets to 5%, something like this more realistic. That's 7. And then you have the 7 contour can basically go like that and then come back to the 7. I know you're trying to form a swell, so I would actually do a little bit of adjustment. I wouldn't do this. No, I would try to drag it up and try to do that instead. So that's your 7 there.
Okay, I guess that would move my HP down a little bit. Okay. For the bottom one.
You won't have an HP. Your HP is over there. This is one swell.
I had it as 2 because they break because I had 2 separate slopes.
That's
I guess.
not an HP. Yeah.
What?
That wouldn't be an HP. That's just
it would just be a point.
Yes,
It would just be
that's
an
just the
elevation.
spot. Exactly. Okay. So that's the 7. Let me move down. So the 7 would be somewhere here. That would be doing something like that, and then attach.
Wait. Why is it moving? I guess that's my next question was like about the ramp.
Just explain this is too close. You won't be able to get down to 7 based on my estimation. You can see you had the calculation here being 0.75. I don't think you can get to 7 within that little distance. But you should check. You should check. You should check. So for this to be 7.5, where should I, if based on those elevations, by 5%, how much should I go to get to 7? Does that sound
Oh, okay. Because
make sense?
like this is all based off of like 'cause I did all the calculations for the spot elevations, and then I did the thing that Stuart said with the center line to find where the contours hit, and that's why I have it there.
It's conflicting. No, you have TR at 0.70, and at 7, that's a little too close. That's just my eyeballing, feeling that it's too steep there. You wouldn't be able to get to. But regardless, what I'm trying to make the point is, no, regardless where that is, you should measure that, right? You should measure to find out where 7 is. Even if it's just a tiny little bit below that one, you wouldn't create a pattern like that. You would try to drag it up and form, your swell. You want this to be a swell. And then for it
Yeah,
to
no, that
kind of
part makes
merge back.
sense. I'm
Yeah.
just worried about having to recalculate my.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you don't necessarily have to recalculate everything. Even if the first part, for instance, if you keep that one, right? You can keep that one. And
Yeah,
for the
it's
first,
at a 5%. So I mean.
you can systematically, I would say, you can systematically move your contour lines up by, or actually down by a certain distance, just to accommodate for that steeper first part. Okay, so that's the 7. If you have a 7, if you have 6 over here, then except for that you need an RDI, otherwise you should be okay. But the 6 should come around. Well, okay. So if we keep the 6 there, our retention needs to be away from the 6. And then
I see what you're saying.
The 6
Yeah.
and the 6 have a high point in between.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes
So
sense.
that's your 7 and that's your 6. Okay, that's for that part. I know you have one more question about the bottom, and I do need to leave at 12. So
I didn't
take
realize.
a
Yeah,
look
I just
at,
didn't know I didn't know how to do that, or if I needed anything for the top of the roofs anymore. I didn't understand how to do the back part basically.
you have an entrance plaza that is paved mostly.
I had my
What
retention,
is,
like those squares in the back are these were the places that's where I wanted to have the roof drain to. Like, those are the areas.
okay. If that's
Not like the
your,
location wise, I just like that's the from the rainbow thing that we did.
that's no problem. No, if you want to have a retention area there, totally fine.
Or do I need
wouldn't,
to, or can I just have it like drain off the sidewalk into a bioretention that's like here? I just have it like be larger maybe.
you could. No, either way would be fine.
Okay.
If you are designing gardens to treat all of them, my suggestion in practice would be put the gardens closer to the roof scuppers so that you don't have to build too many trench drains to direct water. Or you could, if you want to make one of them really prominent, you could have one long trench drain, but I don't think you have to do 3 of them.
Okay.
Right? Dragging it to the side, it does take money. So I would suggest make the point, make it visible. Yes, make the point, but you don't have to do it for all of them. And
Okay.
And having a balance of, I have something close. Oh, sorry, clicked to the wrong button. I have something close to the roof, and then I have something that is on the ground. Oh, I know you have one of this here. That's good. So having one of them close to the roof, and then having one more with a trench drain on the bottom, on the plaza, and directed to the side. Now, these are both viable options. it's mostly later on, it will be mainly determined by your design intention, right? As long as we get them treated,
That's fine.
it will be
Yeah.
determined by other factors that influence your design. So how do we do this part? Now,
Yeah,
the
so for the bottom
part,
part, I didn't know where to start basically. Like what do I base this? Like there's no curve cut or anything, so I didn't really know where to
yes,
start.
yeah, there are different options for the backside as well. So if you want to use contours to concentrate water to one facility, you would actually try to design the back of the contour in a way that forms a swell that goes, a very gentle swell that has a center line that does this. Okay, so what that means is if this is high, this is high, that is low. I'm trying to have my contour like this. You can make it, you can, so that is 1098.5. That would be 598. And we can make it very gentle by doing, by doing this. That's my 98. Does that make sense? So
Okay,
that forms
so
a very gentle, yeah, that forms a very, very gentle plaza swell that help you concentrate that flow into one single cell.
okay, so then
Right.
it's by doing that, you're still keeping the 2% slope.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So there might be 98, just a tiny little bit. I don't know. Well, depend on where you placed your 98 based on your retaining wall and everything. So you might not have a 98 in the corner, but you might. But the
Yeah, so
way
then
you
how is
calculate
it
the
like, 'cause I
spot,
think I have a contour over here that's a 198. So what happens to that one?
you have a contour.
A
Sorry, can you?
198, like the 198 that I have right now, I think stops at one of these walls or something.
Oh,
Or
okay. Well, you wouldn't have a step out. So if you have a BFFE at 98.50, that would not be 1098.00. If that's the, otherwise you would have one step, right? You don't want a step. So you
sorry,
want it to be accessible.
what do you mean?
These will be 0.5, not 0.
I thought the ones
Will be
right
the
here,
same as your, yeah, will be the
those are
same as
0.5.
your,
Okay. So it's also
yeah.
has to be 0.5. Okay, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then so by doing that, by making that contour that way, I still don't know how I'm calculating the
Then
RDI or the LPS.
that's your flow entrance elevation, right? By doing this at 2%,
Oh,
we'll
and
be
you
able
go
to calculate.
perpendicular. Oh,
Yes.
okay. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That makes
All right.
sense. I think, could you just zoom out one more time, like real quick? I could see it.
Zoom out.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I zoom out, then it will.
Oh, I
lose
got
the
I got a
other-
picture.
Yeah.
I just
Okay.
I just wanted this. So if you move back over to the side of the a little bit more, yeah. So then these ones, I guess, we were talking about not needing two contour lines. Do I just need one then for these ones over here?
Let me check one of them. If you have a
Yeah,
curve cut
yeah.
at
As long as it says one of them,
109,
that should be fine.
10, yes, you only need 1109. You don't need
Okay.
1108 because your LP is above 1108.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep, that's it. That's yeah. I just wanted to clarify that. All
Sounds
right.
good. Alrighty.
That's it.
Take care.
All right.
All right. Stop share. Leave room.
So that's really up to you. Because you're going so deep, you have plenty of opportunity to make it work.
Yeah, and when I have this one that's over here, So this one doesn't need the wall, but I'm gonna have a wall in between them, right? And then one over here,
Yep, you got it.
and then one over here.
Yep.
Would I need a wall over here?
Well, it wouldn't hurt. In fact, you've already got kind of a wall right there anyway.
Yeah, it's over here.
Yeah, so you got that one there, you got this one here. And you drop those into pits like I just showed you, and you're gonna have plenty of room.
Okay, then I'll try it out right after class.
All right. You take care.
Okay. Can I ask one more question, or you have to go?
I really need to go, but let's do it. I've got a person.
Yeah,
waiting.
it's fine. Yeah, it's fine. It's just, yeah, I tried to do that 20 feet to connect. Like, is this the right way? So I had like 20 feet apart, and then I just could.
I tend to do it down the center line, but you can do it on the edge if you wish. As long as you're on the inside edge, you're fine.
Okay, sounds good. And I would need a wall from my stairs here.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Thank you. Wuhan, I need to run. Is 1 o'clock okay with you still?
Yeah.
Do you need me right now?
No. I was just checking back and
Okay.
yeah, I did. I felt I wouldn't just leave without notifying you.
Oh, you're so sweet.
All right, I'll see you at 1 then.
Yep.
Sounds
See
good.
you guys. See you later, Jess.
Bye.
Bye.